Majo John Madden in Veracruz, Mexico, standing under a streetlight. It is May 25th. It is the 4th anniversary of George Floyd's killing, and I've been doing a series of videos about issues related to race and my experience as one of the world's all-time most black, white, middle-class guys. And I've been talking about Louisville, Kentucky. When the COVID hit Asheville, North Carolina in March of 2020, I left the city and went to the country and never went back. And after a year of exploring the high mountains of Appalachia, my little Pancho Chihuahua and I both got allergic, wildly so, and we started bigger travels. And one of the first stops was Louisville, Kentucky, where my black son lives, and where Breonna Taylor had been murdered by police just a couple months before George Floyd was killed in Minneapolis. And lots of people believe that Black Lives Matter really came out of Louisville more than Minneapolis. Actually, I do believe it's accurate that the longest running Black Lives Matter chapter started in 2013 in Louisville. So when I arrived in Louisville to reach out to my black son, which never worked successfully, I turned my attention to Black Lives Matter issues there. And very quickly realized that Louisville is like a textbook case. That's a clear bus. Sorry for the distractions. It's a Saturday night, and this town really comes to life with tourists. Louisville was the textbook case in white fragility. The white people knew that the black people were angry, and they were. Breonna was like Louisville's favorite black daughter. And I experienced more frosty looks from black people than any place else in my life. I think it genuinely was America's most racially polarized city. But the whites just had all these hysterical fears about black people. I hung out a lot at a convenience store that was halfway out of town, out near where my son lived, out in the burbs. And my favorite cashier there was a guy who identified Asian and said to me, I don't identify white, I identify as a person of color. But I will not go downtown Louisville. The black people are so angry they will rip you out of your car and beat you because you're white. And there was such wild disinformation. I spent a lot of time that summer downtown, which was not its usual self because of COVID, but was still totally safe. I also would hang out at the Riot Cafe, which was a coffee shop that had been burned out in the first few weeks of violent protests in Louisville. And a white woman had bought it and turned it into a center for Black Lives Matter activities, and defiantly gave it the name the Riot Cafe. Okay, you want to call it a riot? Let's call it a riot. Shortly after I got there on June 6th of 21, there was the biggest Black Lives Matter activity. Was a year anniversary of the shooting at one of the Black Lives Matter protests in the original June protests of a white photographer named Tyler Girth. And he hadn't been shot by police. It was some crazy random thing. But it was the time that the whole Black Lives Matter community, which was black and white, came together to celebrate his life and death. And I said, this is the chance. I want to take this as an opportunity to demonstrate that people's fears about black people are so overblown and unnecessary. And I'd shot a bunch of videos, which never really went anywhere because I wasn't doing TikTok yet. I didn't have a YouTube channel yet. I was like posting them to a blog or something. But I still got them. I interviewed the wonderful black candidate for mayor, someone with a rich history of community organizing. I never interviewed. There was a fabulous black candidate for Senate up against Rand Paul, a guy who was so sharp and charismatic. I compared him to a younger Barack Obama. And he had been raised at the West End, which was Louisville's best kept secret. My black biracial son had never taken me there. He never referred to it, which parts of it were really unbelievably blighted. And parts of it were very middle class. And people didn't know that there were people who took care of their lawns and their families. The one park I hung out, there were a bunch of black teenagers there, and I do really well with young guys. And they were like, the one kid saying to the other kid, he's got an iPhone 12. They busted for my... So they were using iPhones, you know? Break the stereotypes. But that Tyler Girth anniversary, doing the electric slide, black and white together, it was a gorgeous day. And I wish I had gotten the word out more than I did, because it was proof positive that blacks and white could work together even in a town like that.